the top 10 or top 5 will do me right.
The UFC was about to oblige. After Durden, Van took a quick 3-month turnaround to face Ray Tsuruya at UFC 313 and walked out with the Myanmar flag for the first time in his career after the UFC finally approved it. He won a clean, unanimous decision, defending 17 of 21 takedown attempts. His ranking was climbing, but the real test was waiting at UFC 316, Bruno Bulldog Silva, the man who had just brutally finished Cody Durden the previous summer. Silva was a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt, a former chief training partner of Henry Cejudo, and was riding 4 straight first-round finishes before a setback against Manel Kape. Just like Felipe Bunez 18 months earlier, Silva took one look at Van and decided he'd found the weakness everyone else had missed. When the cage door shut at the Prudential Center, Silva came out firing leg kicks, knocking Van off balance early. But Van read the pattern fast. He timed 2 clean counter right hands that visibly stunned the Brazilian, then followed up with a short left hook that knocked Silva down. Silva, the BJJ black belt, who had just talked about Van's holes in grappling, desperately shot for a takedown. Van stuffed it like it was nothing. From there, it was a one-sided beatdown. Round after round, Van picked Silva apart on the feet while shutting down every grappling exchange Silva tried to initiate. Late in round 3, with Silva already broken, Van swarmed him with strikes. Van had finished the man who finished Durden. The holes in his grappling theory had ended with another Brazilian BJJ black belt face down on the canvas. After the win, Van made his next move clear.
See, I'm not really the guys to call out people, but I heard the UFC is coming to Texas, you know what I mean? And I also heard Moreno will want to fight on UFC Noche, so Texas versus Mexican, you know what I mean?
But the UFC had other plans, and they were about to put him in the deep end. Just 3 weeks after dismantling Bruno Silva, Van's phone rang. Manel Kape had withdrawn with an injury and pulled out of his UFC 317 title eliminator against Brandon Royval. The UFC needed a replacement. They called Van, and he didn't hesitate.
Yeah, man, when they call me Sunday, you know what I mean, it's just opportunity that I can't say no. And I told the media I want to fight as soon as possible. So you know what I mean. The UFC gave me a matchup, and I have to say yes. Yeah, he was like, "Hey, man, you want to fight Royval?" I said, "Yeah."
This was a massive jump. Royval was the #1 ranked flyweight in the world, a 2-time title challenger, and had just put together back-to-back wins over Brandon Moreno and Tatsuro Taira. Van, by contrast, was ranked number 12, taking the fight on 3 weeks' notice, his 4th bout in 9 months. Most analysts thought it was too much, too soon. Royval certainly wasn't worried.
That's what I'm hearing and I'm telling you guys right now, is I win this fight, I make a statement, I go get a title shot.
When the cage door shut at T-Mobile Arena, both men did exactly that to each other. From the opening bell, Van and Royval traded combinations at a pace flyweights had never sustained before. By the end of the fight, the two had landed a combined 419 significant strikes, the most in any 3-round UFC fight in history, and the first time ever that both flyweights had landed more than 200. Royval brought everything he had. Van brought back more. He pressed forward, 8 clean shots, returned harder ones, and by the championship rounds, his volume was breaking Royval down. A late surge in the 3rd round swung the scorecards. When the final bell rang, all 3 judges scored it for Van. He had just beaten the #1 contender on 3 weeks' notice in what was immediately called the Fight of the Year. After the fight, Van walked to the post-fight interview and made his message clear.